Most people are content with doing one thing well. Our next guest on She Shot TV has decided that she's going to take on probably 5 or 6 roles that you need in making a film. She's an actor, a writer, a director, a producer, armourer, model, and recently a novelist. So I don't know what's in the water down this way, but NaomiLISNER is going to tell us what's happening. Hello, welcome to She Shot.
Thank you. Well, not really an armourer, but working with an armourer and being trained with him. And the model is life modelling, because as an actor and all the other things, I'm still have to put food on the table, so that's what I do.
You started acting when you were 8.
Yes.
Did you know you were going to be an actor from that age?
I think so. I loved it from the moment I began performing. I just knew that it was for me.
What's been your favourite role so far?
My favourite role is always the one that I'm working on. At the moment, I'm playing a character called Jade in a film called Tracy, and I love it. I'm really enjoying it because I'm playing a character that I don't often get to play. Yes, I did write the characters, but she's very out there, and she doesn't look like me, she doesn't speak like me. What I like is it shows women in a different light. Apologies to my mother when she sees the film. I've warned her that I'm butt naked in many scenes, but I love it because it's just a strong, interesting role, and women are that, and so are men. And I think that we should be represented on screen for who we are, which is funny and interesting and smart and stupid and vulnerable and all the things that make up all men and women.
A couple of years ago, you wrote a great article called Art Doesn't Imitate Life. Tell us about that article and what was the reaction?
Positive. I wrote it because I was very, very angry. Well, I wrote it as a woman going through divorce who suddenly had to earn money, and I noticed that there was a big problem in the industry where women over 50 weren't really getting great roles. They were just kind of the sidekicks. It's like we are only grandmothers, mothers, that we're not seen as sexual creatures, that we don't have a sense of humour, that we just really, put in this slot and all of the work for young women. And it's great to represent young women, but these women are going to say, what happens as I age? I become obsolete. What message are we sending people? And that's just the reality of life, and that's what I don't like, and that's probably why I write so much. And I'm very vocal about it because it's gender equality, diversism, and ageism. Ageism is really very, very high on the agenda, and that's something that I address when I write. It's very important for me because as women, we're not well represented, and we do make up half the population, and it's 2017. You wouldn't know it though.
When did you start writing?
Basically a few years ago because of divorce. And I know that might sound like a strange reply to you, but I was in a marriage for 28 years, and I was, it was difficult coming out and not really having any life skills other than mother and actor. And so I had to learn to do other things.
Well, you've taken on a number of different roles, and recently you've become a casting agent. I'd have to say, choosing George Danikian, inspired. How did that come about?
Well, I decided to start a casting agency and called it Ahava, which is Hebrew for the word love, because I love to give people work, particularly paid work. But there's a lot of talent out there that doesn't get recognized, so I want to be able to cast my own movies. George and I worked together in 2013. We did a comedy that came in the top 20 for the Adelaide Film Festival called Caravans for Refugees. And we became great friends. And one day at lunch, I just said to him, you know what, George, I've written a screenplay and I think that you'd be great for it. And he loved the idea.
Where did the title Apparently So come from?
Well, after my divorce, I was a bit lost and had to start life again. So after a terrible relationship where I got dumped, I'm happy to, well, I don't say happy to admit it, but I'm being honest. I started to write down my feelings, and then I decided to interview a lot of other women who had to start their life over again, and apparently so just seemed to fit in, and it was something that an old boyfriend said in conversation. So I thought, he broke my heart, but I got a great movie title from it.
You have turned what was a tough time into your life into fuel for your creativity. Do you think that happens to women, that they can actually change their experience into art?
Definitely. Divorce isn't easy for men or women. It's really hard. But often, like me, when you've been the one that's been the person that's raised the children, and you don't have that steady career, and you have to start again, it's really, really hard. So I interviewed so many women who were terrified to start again. And I think it's a very important story. So I hope that we get to film it this year, and I'm looking for an executive producer, because I know worldwide it is such an important story, and it's just true, it happens.
So what's next for you, Naomi?
Well, we're just at the end of filming Tracy, which is one of 5 Australian films that have been chosen to play at the Australian Singapore Film Festival in November. So the director and I are very excited to fly over there. And I've got the feature and the novel, Apparently So. And then I've got a film called Hannah Rosenthal that I just started writing for the Jewish International Film Festival. So,
is there anything you can't do, Naomi?
Oh, clearly, particularly when it comes to choosing men. I'm terrible at it, but I hope that changes.
Coming to a screen near you. Thanks so much for being on She Shot TV.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Chris, and well done, Naomi Listener. Soon, Debbie Goldman on her work as a literary agent.